Good afternoon, everybody. Today is Wednesday, July 23rd, 2025. We're going to have a meeting of the Document Review Committee. I'd like to call the meeting to order at 3:01 p.m. Roll call, the three of us are here, myself, Tammy Vanderpolder, and Ann Meter. And at this time, I would like, the first item on the agenda is to adopt this agenda. And so I would ask to just have a show of hands for adoption of the agenda and everything that's on it.
Yes, I'm good.
Okay. Unanimous. So the first order of business is you should have gotten a copy of the 6/27/2025 draft minutes. I need to get a motion for approval of those, please.
Move to approve the minutes from June 27th, 2025.
I need a second.
Second right here.
Okay, all in favor?
Me?
Aye.
Good. So then the next order of business is going to be a fast meeting, girls. The next order of business is an update on the submitted draft board policies that we worked on before. Keith asked me to send them to Michael and he's looking at them. I haven't heard back yet. When I hear back, we'll get them. Most of them are really straightforward, but there's a couple of them. He actually called me about the difference between the collection policy and the delinquent dues policy. And so he's looking at them, but right now, I think all of us know we're kind of busy with a lot of stuff. But I expect I'll hear back from him by the time we have our next meeting. Hopefully, I will have already submitted them to the board. We'll have to see how board meetings go for July and for August. So with that, we've got policies to review is next, and the 1996-07 building permits I sent to you. That's all now, and we just need to simply indicate to them that all the processes for that are now included in the updated ACC manual. You have the old policy and you also have the new policy. So that's all I have to do with that one. It's very short. So it's just going to be to send it to the board, include both of those copies of things to show them what the old is and what the current is.
Yep.
So that's real simple. The next one is 2017 for association involvement in member property matters. That's kind of how do I say it? It's a stickler for me because we've always said that we keep our nose out of it, and I think we should take a look at this. It was done back in 2017, and I'd like to check some of the language, what do we do with all this? It's that we don't get involved with it. Every now and then we kind of get dragged into it, but if it's between two members, and we try to kind of stay out of it if we can. Sometimes it has to do with property lines and that sort of thing. Once again, that should be up to them to get a surveyor and determine if they have an argument about it. It's really not the responsibility of the association.
I agree.
So it's things like that. I think it's almost good the way it states. It says that we should be looking into guidelines and stuff. And I think that's something we need to do and see if we need to change it at all. I don't think we do, but right now there's so much up in the air with Wakayawa and things coming up in 2026. Forget 2028. We're looking 2026 and changes.
I know, I'm surprised that it's coming up so soon.
Yeah, I think when they did this way back when, they were very patient, but they had, before this latest bill that amended things that said in 2025, which is Senate Bill 5129. It says, you know, this here, we're putting this out in 2025. These things take place in 2026. There was another one that was, I believe, Senate Bill 5167 last year that was saying, hey, these are changes we'd like to see you do. So it's like with some of these things, they're pushing a little bit and a little bit and a little bit to get them in. I think they thought a lot of people would opt into Wakiowa, and I don't think a lot of people have. You know, it's a big change for older associations.
What's Wakiowa?
Wakiowa is Washington State.
Unified.
Unified, you know, something.
Oh,
It's a unified law. It's actually started out as a federal law because I've seen it as a federal law.
Uniform Common Interest
Yes.
Ownership Act.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And where before we were allowed to operate under our bylaws and our governing documents, now it's like, no, you have to do it their way. Like right now, there's only 2 of all of, it's like pages long. It's like 100, I think it's 190 pages long, if I'm not mistaken. But there's only 2 that we have to go by. And it's the one that says if we were formed before 2018, these apply. And it applies to our budgets and our special assessments and how we vote on them. It used to be with our governing documents, to approve a budget and dues, it had to be a 60% approval rate. Many people would have, but they were 2 separate votes. You voted for the budget and you voted for dues. The budget would get passed because according to state law since 1995, you're required to have 50% of all of us in here, not just those voting, all of us who live in here. There's now 3,116 voting lots. So it would take you roughly 1,500 people to reject a budget. So the budget always passed, but our dues measure was allowed to be separate because until that law came into effect, Sudden Valley residents only voted on their dues and assessments. We never did the budget until it became state law and a requirement.
Mhm.
So now in the latest iteration, which is 649525, they have said, no, your budget and your dues go together annually, and it's a presumed to pass. It's half of all the owners in here to not pass it, to reject it. That's the thing that's so weird. You don't pass it. You don't if 1,600 people voted to reject it, then he would have to refer to the old budget. But it's like a presumed to pass. It's like a really steep watermark to make. And the state law also says you can have greater than that percentage. Well, what would you do if you had 60% of all the owners in here? So it's like, it doesn't say you can have a lesser amount. It says you can have a greater amount. And so it's a presumed to pass sort of a thing. So there's little things like that that are changing all the time. For instance, in 2026, our ballots, one thing I focus on, the ballots where we already vet and look at our candidates, there has to be a line and a way for people to put in a write-in candidate. So we'll be required to do it. If we don't do it, somebody could nullify one of our elections. So it's things like that that are happening, and it really makes a big change in how associations who have been established for a long time do business. And it's just, you know, grabbing the bull by the horns and go, okay, this is what we have to do. So that's why I want to check the law and if Wakiowa says anything about this, because they do have some things in there, whether they will, as far as if we're concerned with property member matters that are just not between them and the association, but between two members that live, adjoining probably somehow. That's what they're talking about. But I think we should take a look and see if we could do a little hunting and then come back and say, are there any changes or can it just stay the way it is? Just simply update the date on it.
Do you have very many people actually requesting, I guess, advice or help from the?
That I don't know, because who they usually go to is either ACC, and sometimes they can give them guidance. But if they have, like somebody can say, how do I say it? How would we get involved between two people? So somebody watches a neighbor build an exterior little storage shed on their property. And they go look and they say, I don't think they got that approved. And it's required. I think I just had a mail drop. And so anyway, that way you would get the ACC involved to some extent, because in theory, number one, they should have the approval. So in that way, there are instances when the association can get involved. Just like new builds that happen when they're building next to them and stuff's going on and they're taking out extra trees or they're doing this or they're doing that. Then the association, but if it's just between two owners, and I can think of little things like, let's say somebody wants you to limb a tree or says, hey, that's leaning by my house. I want you to take it out. There's times where that becomes just between two members and then the association doesn't like to get mixed into it. If it's on your property, are there rules that, you may want to look into it, but sometimes it gets really contentious. Usually people work it out. Sometimes you'll have a tree that's right on a property line and somebody wants to keep it and the other person, and so I'm saying there's times where stuff like that occurs and you just have to let people work it out on their own as much as they can. Say 50-50 or somebody wants a fence put up and the other person doesn't. And then, what do you do? And is it just nobody cares, so it's no big deal? Then it's not bad, but it's something that happens every now and then. And ideally, unless it's directly has to involve the association, we're to stay out of it.
Sounds good.
I agree.
Yeah.
We have enough trouble as it is, right?
Exactly.
So the last thing we're going to look at is the marina moorage storage licensing policy.
Did you get the
it's
copy that I
from-
sent last night late, the one that Nicole
Yes, I
updated?
have them all. And this is going to take us to look at it again, because I think Timey wanted to make amendments to what Lori and she worked on last year and what Kyle has. And what I saw with some of Kyle's stuff is I thought I saw in his list of things, stuff we took out of there. Like in number 9 in his, customers shall comply with RCW 79, 100, 150, and 170 with regard to vessels greater than 65 feet.
Oh, I sent you a new one from Nicole because I sent that back to Kyle and Nicole, and I said, you have the old one. You need to do the updated one. So last night.
Oh, so I haven't even seen that yet, but I did see that note from you and I just didn't.
Yeah, there was another one last night, and I gave Anne the copy today. Nicole realized that they had taken the old one, so she updated the form with the one that we had, and she actually made my change because I happened to mention it in the meeting yesterday. So she made my change, which is I wanted to.
That thing about the boat group.
Yeah, it's on the new one that she did. So all the numbers. I didn't catch anything that was different. I think she used the right one. And the part about.
I'll take a look. See, stuff is it's like he's changing some of this stuff and that's fine as long as I don't care about the form unless you do, you know, the licensing agreement.
They just wanted to make them all look basically the same, so they just changed the format a little bit. But
Yeah, because I see that on the bottom, it's checked, but I still see in the actual terms and conditions, I still see on mine that number 9 that should be gone, so I probably just need to.
yeah, you have to
And
have the updated copy. There's a more updated one. Kyle
I
just
know.
updated the wrong
The
one.
only thing I wanted to check on it is if we're happy with the whole issue of, I think when did it say they had to be completed by? I thought we had made it March.
No, it's annual notice of license renewal will be sent by January 15th, and she's got 2025, but she's gonna change that to 2026. The
Paid by
annual
February
fee,
28th.
yeah, has to be paid by February 28th, and that's what we did last year, and staff really liked that because it got that all in early, and then they could deal with a lot of the marina issues before summer hit.
Yeah, but see, that's the whole thing. It says license renewal will be sent before April 1st. Does that mean they'll send the notice to us, or that means they have to turn it into us? It's kind of an ambiguous statements under number 1.
Yeah, it says annual will be sent by January 15th, and that's by SVCA. SVCA will send, and we can change that.
That has to
SVCA
be,
will
because
send,
otherwise there's no way you're gonna get it. They're gonna have to send it out by February or March or whatever. If how long are they gonna give people to turn in their renewals?
a month and a half, basically.
So then it would have to, then
Oh,
we're
no,
gonna
two and a
have,
half
that has
months,
to be
sorry.
changed.
Yeah, no, that's right, a month and a half.
To where they're mailing them out. But it should be easy for them because it's a quiet time of the year for them.
Yeah, and I think last year, the reason we picked January 15th was because we had made the change and we wanted to give them a little bit of time, but we could change, that they'll be sent out by January 5th. So that gives them another 10 days. So that we're still getting them back in by February 28th, but sending them out 10 days earlier than last year.
Yeah, I don't know if it says somewhere. I was reading in here, but it's like some of this stuff jumps out at you
Yeah.
about when they have to have them. You must return by.
Yeah, and you have to let them know by February 28th or they're going to move on.
And it's good. I think all of them, I think all the slips are filled.
That's what I heard.
Because but we're beyond budget. So at least one that I have seen in June, which is good.
Yeah.
Considering that last year we had at least a few non-owners in that group.
Yeah, and
we
everyone.
don't anymore.
That's right, which is nice.
But we definitely should check dates on this. Out and return by. The only other thing that I kind of had a who about is when it says how to complete your renewal on like page 5 of it, which I don't think she changed. It says you update your registration, your insurance, it says how to return this form and your additional documents. Bring it in person to the SVCA Welcome Center located, and then, or mail it there to mail. But then how to pay, it says pay in person at the community center. I don't understand, and I still don't, although somebody tried to explain it to me and I went, I don't care. It's like, why, to me, I would think we now have two people full-time down there in the office to be able to process these forms rather than, it gets really busy at admin every now and then.
It does. And I think that was because last year, and that's why this does need to be updated. Last year, all the files were at the Welcome Center. So that's why they wanted to have them drop it off at the Welcome Center, but that's all been moved down to rec.
Yeah.
So that should
I
be
also think
changed.
they gave part of a staff time up in admin to doing this, but it's just, you know what? If people down there and they're full-time people, why not,
They can get it done. That
do it
needs to be
there?
changed. It needs to go to rec. So that definitely needs to be changed on this form.
But it's to discuss with Kyle also, but it's like,
Mhm.
I just think that I don't know that we're gonna have another person up in admin, and I'd rather see the people in admin doing what they need to do than having it all crazy with people trying to bring in dues, people trying to bring in plans. And then this is just one more thing. And wouldn't it be nice if we could just move it all down to rec?
I agree. I was in the Welcome Center today and I was talking to Diane and she was just so busy. We have the town hall tonight and
Yep.
she had 2 meetings going on today. There's just
Yeah.
a lot and of course the Valley Fair on Saturday.
Yeah.
And she just didn't have the capacity to take one more thing on today.
Yeah.
So
It's hard. I know she gave me a call because with all we're doing, I hadn't done the minutes until late because I came across a couple of things I needed to deal with that were kind of like, oh, wait a minute here, what are we doing? And
yeah,
going back and forth. But it's like to look at all that. And I just think that if now, because I think before when we started doing this process last year, I don't think we had both full-time people. I
no,
don't know what her name is, but I don't think she was hired yet. I think he was still looking.
her name's Nikel.
Nikel
Yeah,
with an N?
Nakell.
Okay.
She's very good.
So I don't think that he had hired her yet, but now that there's 2 of them there, can they work something out to just take care of it all? Because it's not such a big deal. Until people make that payment, it doesn't get booked in AR. So when they bring those, so it's not like there's a disconnect there between AR and the marina. So I don't think there's any reason why we couldn't suggest that and hopefully move this along and leave it that way.
I think so. And Nikel's pretty organized. So doing this kind of thing she'd be good at.
Oh, yeah, she seems really nice,
Yeah,
you
she's a
know?
sweetheart. She helped me so much with getting everything set up for that high tea we did.
Uh-huh.
She was running around and she was just super helpful.
That's neat. Did you see what they've done with the Welcome Center? Did you see all that really nice mulch?
Yep,
Oh, that's going to be pretty when it gets all done.
it
And it
is.
looks so much better than all those overgrown weeds. It's just going to be keeping up with it and getting maintenance. But I think if we get a garden like that, Joanne started that whole thing with volunteers, or maybe even Elizabeth Huthert that has that other smaller garden club that
Yeah,
they could volunteer to help help with the watering, help with keeping it weeded and upkept, you know what I
yep,
mean, the upkeep of it. That
yep.
maybe that would, at least to me, that sort of a project rings really true with being able to do it.
I think so. I think that'd be nice.
Yeah, it'll look really nice.
Let me go check on a calendar and then I'm going to say something and we're going to be done with our meeting.
Yes.
So August 27th, it looks like. So it looks like to me, our next meeting should be on August 27th. That's the Wednesday right before the board meeting. Hopefully by then we'll have some answers to stuff. Let's take a look at the marina moorage and storage policy and make sure we're happy with what's in there. Make those few recommendations for changes. Take a look in legal RCW state law if we're okay where we are. I think we are with the association involvement and member property management. Building permits is a done deal. I don't even worry about that. So I think we're all good with that. Does anybody have any other comments?
No, but as far as the 28th, we have company coming in the 22nd to the 30th. I think it's 20, I know it's to the 30th. And then we
Okay,
also,
will you
so
be able to make the one on the 27th? And you know, we may end up, I haven't asked them to give a date for our next meeting yet. I just have TBD in there until I know that we can all be here.
If we could pull it to that first week of September, that would help, because if we have a board meeting that week too, and this meeting, like they're from New York, and
Yeah, you want to be able to visit.
yeah.
Let's look for that. We're gonna have a special board meeting, and I don't know where it is because I haven't got my board binder with me right now. I have my document review binder. We will end up with a special meeting in September to adopt the budget.
Right.
You know, that's that special meeting that we have to have, and it has to be within so many days and everything else, so.
Yeah.
It's
But I
kind
mean, this
of,
is during the day, and they don't take that long. So if we could just pull that, even though it's just like, stopping in the middle of the day when you have company,
it's hard. I hear what you're saying. Is that all right with you? Ann, do you have any plans? I know it's hard to plan
Yeah,
out so far.
September, first week of September looks good.
Good. You know, I'm gone I'm going to Maui to see the grandson.
Yay.
Oh, I got some cute pictures of him.
Is
He's
that the
sitting
first
up.
time? First time you're
Oh,
gonna see him?
yes, first time. I'm a first time grandma. I didn't know
Oh,
if I'd ever be a
exciting.
real grandma. I have two little girls that I've watched since they were born in the NICU here from a friend that I actually met as on the board. She served on the board, Sarah Holmstrom. And that's how I met her. Her mother is deceased and I've taken care of the girls ever since. But anyway, those were my grandkids, but I'll be gone the middle of August here pretty soon. But other than that, that's why I wanted to get this kind of take a look at it and see when we're going to do, but I'll send a date. Are Wednesdays good for you both, or it doesn't make any difference? I'd like to keep them on Wednesdays it makes it easier for me.
Doesn't
Yeah,
really make much
Wednesday's good for
difference.
me.
Yep.
Okay. Sounds like a plan. Well, we have concluded our business, so I move that we adjourn this meeting at 3:28 p.m.
All right. Thanks.
All right,
Thank
ladies,
you.
see you all tonight. I plan on being at the town hall.